Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
To stress, single out as important. Difficulty that causes worry or emotional tension. She endured the stresses and strains of life. Special emphasis attached to something. The stress was more on accuracy than on speed. Test the limits of. The relative prominence of a syllable or musical note, especially with regard to stress or pitch. He put the stress on the wrong syllable. Psychology. A state of mental or emotional strain or suspense. Stress is a vasoconstrictor. Put stress on. Utter with an accent. Physics. Force that produces strain on a physical body. The intensity of stress is expressed in units of force divided by units of area. Special importance or significance. The room was decorated in shades of gray with distinctive red accents. To stress, single out as important. Distinctive manner of oral expression. He couldn't suppress his contemptuous accent. The relative prominence of a syllable or musical note, especially with regard to stress or pitch. The usage or vocabulary that is characteristic of a specific group of people. He has a strong German accent. A diacritical mark used to indicate stress or placed above a vowel to indicate a special pronunciation. Put stress on. Utter with an accent. In Farsi, you accent the last syllable of each word. To stress, single out as important. Put stress on. Utter with an accent. To stress, single out as important. Give extra weight to a communication. To stress, single out as important. Dr. Jones emphasizes exercise in addition to a change in diet. Give extra weight to a communication. Her gesture emphasized her words. To stress, single out as important. Insert punctuation marks into. Interrupt periodically. Her sharp questions punctuated the speaker's drone. An intense or violent exertion. Difficulty that causes worry or emotional tension. She endured the stresses and strains of life. Cause to be tense and uneasy or nervous or anxious. Test the limits of. Become stretched or tense or taut. The rope strained when the weight was attached. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. The act of singing. Remove by passing through a filter. Separate by passing through a sieve or other straining device to separate out coarser elements. Use to the utmost. Exert vigorously or to full capacity. Don't strain your mind too much. Biology. A group of organisms within a species that differ in trivial ways from similar groups. A new strain of microorganisms. A special variety of domesticated animals within a species. He created a new strain of sheep. The general meaning or substance of an utterance. To exert much effort or energy. Straining our ears to hear. An effortful attempt to attain a goal. Rub through a strainer or process in an electric blender. Alter the shape of something by stress. Psychology. Nervousness resulting from mental stress. His responsibilities were a constant strain. Injury to a muscle, often caused by overuse, results in swelling and pain. Physics, deformation of a physical body under the action of applied forces. Become focused or come into focus. The light focused. The concentration of attention or energy on something. The focus of activity shifted to molecular biology. Direct one's attention on something. Please focus on your studies and not on your hobbies. Bring into focus or alignment, to converge or cause to converge, of ideas or emotions. Special emphasis attached to something. A central point or locus of an infection in an organism. The focus of infection. A point of convergence of light, or other radiation, or a point from which it diverges. Put an image into focus. Please focus the image. We cannot enjoy the movie. A fixed reference point on the concave side of a conic section. Cause to converge on or toward a central point. Maximum clarity or distinctness of an idea. The controversy brought clearly into focus an important difference of opinion. Maximum clarity or distinctness of an image rendered by an optical system. In focus. Melt, fat or lard, in order to separate out impurities. Try the yak butter. Test the limits of. You are trying my patience. Make an effort or attempt. Take a sample of. Put to the test, as for its quality, or give experimental use to. Put on a garment in order to see whether it fits and looks nice. Put on trial or hear a case and sit as the judge at the trial of. Earnest and conscientious activity intended to do or accomplish something. She gave it a good try. Examine or hear, evidence or a case, by judicial process. Give pain or trouble to. Special importance or significance. The red light gave the central figure increased emphasis. The relative prominence of a syllable or musical note, especially with regard to stress or pitch. Intensity or forcefulness of expression. His emphasis on civil rights. Special and significant stress by means of position or repetition, e.g. The physical condition of being stretched or strained. He could feel the tenseness of her body. Psychology. A state of mental or emotional strain or suspense. The physical condition of being stretched or strained. It places great tension on the leg muscles. Feelings of hostility that are not manifest. The diplomat's first concern was to reduce international tensions. Psychology. A state of mental or emotional strain or suspense. He suffered from fatigue and emotional tension. A balance between an interplay of opposing elements or tendencies, especially in art or literature. There is a tension created between narrative time and movie time. Physics. A stress that produces an elongation of an elastic physical body. The direction of maximum tension moves asymptotically toward the direction of the shear. The action of stretching something tight. Tension holds the belt in the pulleys. Give expression to. Provide evidence for. The blood test showed that he was the father. Pretending that something is the case in order to make a good impression. That ceremony is just for show. Take someone to their seats, as in theaters or auditoriums. The usher showed us to our seats. Indicate a certain reading of gauges and instruments. The thermometer showed 13 degrees below zero. Indicate a place, direction, person, or thing, either spatially or figuratively. I showed the customer the glove section. Show in, or as in, a picture. Be or become visible or noticeable. His good upbringing really shows. Something intended to communicate a particular impression. A show of impatience. Give an exhibition of to an interested audience. She shows her dogs frequently. Give expression to. She showed her disappointment. Establish the validity of something, as by an example, explanation or experiment. The mathematician showed the validity of the conjecture. A social event involving a public performance or entertainment. They wanted to see some of the shows on Broadway. Finish third or better in a horse or dog race. He bet $2 on number 6 to show. Give evidence of, as of records. The diary shows his distress that evening. Make visible or noticeable. She showed her talent for cooking. The act of publicly exhibiting or entertaining. A remarkable show of skill. Obtain from a substance, as by mechanical action. Italians express coffee rather than filter it. Indicate through a symbol, formula, etc. Can you express this distance in kilometers? Articulate, either verbally or with a cry, shout, or noise. She expressed her anger. Serve as a means for expressing something. Mail that is distributed by a rapid and efficient system. Rapid transport of goods. Public transport consisting of a fast train or bus that makes only a few scheduled stops. He caught the express to New York. Give expression to. Manifest the effects of a gene or genetic trait. Many of the laboratory animals express the trait. Not tacit or implied. Her express wish. Send by rapid transport or special messenger service. She expressed the letter to Florida. Without unnecessary stops. An express train. The quality of being difficult. They agreed about the difficulty of the climb. An effort that is inconvenient. Had difficulty walking. A condition or state of affairs almost beyond one's ability to deal with and requiring great effort to bear or overcome. A factor causing trouble in achieving a positive result or tending to produce a negative result. Cause physical pain or suffering in. Afflict with the plague. Cause great unhappiness for, distress. She was afflicted by the death of her parents. Prosody, a system of versification. The study of poetic meter and the art of versification. The patterns of stress and intonation in a language. A manner of speaking in which the loudness or pitch or tone of the voice is modified. The patterns of stress and intonation in a language. Deviation from a straight or normal course. A change in the form of a word, usually by adding a suffix, to indicate a change in its grammatical function. Psychology, nervousness resulting from mental stress. Psychology, nervousness resulting from mental stress. The mental strain of staying alert hour after hour was too much for him. Speak, pronounce, or utter in a certain way. Express or state clearly. Speak, pronounce, or utter in a certain way. She pronounces French words in a funny way. Pronounce judgment on. Have or contain a certain wording or form. What does the law say? Give instructions to or direct somebody to do something with authority. Express a supposition. Let us say that he did not tell the truth. Speak, pronounce, or utter in a certain way. I cannot say, zip wire. Report or maintain. The registrar says that I owe the school money. Express in words. Communicate or express nonverbally. What does this painting say? Indicate. The clock says noon. Recite or repeat a fixed text. State as one's opinion or judgment. Declare. I say let's forget this whole business. The chance to speak. Let him have his say. Utter aloud. Speak, pronounce, or utter in a certain way. Can the child sound out this complicated word? Try to learn someone's opinions and intentions. I have to sound out the new professor. Provide with a joint. Speak, pronounce, or utter in a certain way. Express or state clearly. Consisting of segments held together by joints. Put into words or an expression. Expressing yourself easily or characterized by clear expressive language. Articulate speech. Unite by forming a joint or joints. The ankle bone articulates with the leg bones to form the ankle bones. Speak, pronounce, or utter in a certain way. Of a law, having legal validity. Group of people willing to obey orders. A public force is necessary to give security to the rights of citizens. Physical energy or intensity. He hit with all the force he could muster. A put-out of a base runner who is required to run. The put-out is accomplished by holding the ball while touching the base to which the runner must advance before the runner reaches that base. The shortstop got the runner at second on a force. To cause to do through pressure or necessity, by physical, moral or intellectual means. She forced him to take a job in the city. Force into or from an action or state, either physically or metaphorically. Urge or force, a person, to an action, constrain or motivate. Move with force. Impose urgently, importunately, or inexorably. She forced her diet fads on him. Squeeze like a wedge into a tight space. A unit that is part of some military service. He sent Caesar a force of 6,000 men. One possessing or exercising power or influence or authority. May the force be with you. An act of aggression, as one against a person who resists. He may accomplish by craft in the long run what he cannot do by force and violence in the short one. Take by force. A group of people having the power of effective action. He joined forces with a band of adventurers. A powerful effect or influence. The force of his eloquence easily persuaded them. Do forcibly. Exert force. Don't force it. Physics. The influence that produces a change in a physical quantity. Force equals mass times acceleration. A line drawn underneath, especially under written matter. Give extra weight to a communication. Draw a line or lines underneath to call attention to. Understate the importance or quality of. The part of a scene, or picture, that lies behind objects in the foreground. He posed her against a background of rolling hills. Scenery hung at back of stage. Computer science. The area of the screen in graphical user interfaces against which icons and windows appear. The state of the environment in which a situation exists. Information that is essential to understanding a situation or problem. The embassy filled him in on the background of the incident. Extraneous signals that can be confused with the phenomenon to be observed or measured. They got a bad connection and could hardly hear one another over the background signals. A person's social heritage, previous experience or training. He is a lawyer with a sports background. Relatively unimportant or inconspicuous accompanying situation. When the rain came, he could hear the sound of thunder in the background. To make a rush at or sudden attack upon, as in battle. Contract the abdominal muscles during childbirth to ease delivery. Exert a force with a heavy weight. Exert a force or cause a strain upon. Exert full strength. Pay special attention to.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.